Effects of government intervention on price control. Price control are restrictions imposed by government ensure that goods and services remains affordable. Here are the two types of government price control. First is price ceiling. Price ceilings prevent a price from rising above a certain level. When a price ceiling is set below the equilibrium price, quantity demanded will exceed quantity supplied, and excess demand or shortages will result. The second type of government price control is price floor. A price floor is the lowest legal price that can be paid in a market for goods and services, labor, or financial capital. Perhaps the best known example of a price floor is the minimum wage, which is based on the normative view that someone working full-time ought to be able to afford a basic standard of living. Here's a few of our presidents and their past laws relating our topic. President Corazon Aquino. Corazon Aquino was the President of the Republic of the Philippines from 1986 to 1992. The Asset Privatization Trust and EO 470 or trade liberalization has been passed under her term. The Asset Privatization Trust is a government agency tasked with disposing various assets by selling them to the private sector. While the EO 470 or the Philippine Trade Reduced Industrial Protection administered through high tariffs and import regulations. Tariffs were thus lowered and a good number of imports were liberalized. Next is President Fidel Ramos. Fidel Ramos was the President of the Republic of the Philippines from 1992 to 1998. The Republic Act 8479 or the Oil Deregulation Law was running under his term. The Oil Deregulation Law had removed government control on the pricing, exportation, and importation of petroleum products, allowing market forces to dictate oil prices. Although progressive groups have been urging the government to review the law. President Joseph Arap Estrada. Joseph Estrada is the former president of the Philippines year 1998 to 2001. Under his presidential term, the Republic Act 8799 or the Securities Regulation Code and the Republic Act 8791 has been implemented. The Republic Act 8799, otherwise known as the Securities Regulation Code, was enacted as a landmark legislation seeking the achievement of a free market that is self-regulating. The three core objectives of securities regulation are the protection of investors, ensuring that markets are fair, efficient and transparent, the reduction of systemic risk. The three objectives are closely related and, in some respects, overlap. While the Republic Act 8791 or the General Banking Act is about maintaining the quality of bank management and afford better protection to depositors and the public in general, the Monetary Board shall prescribe, pass upon and review the qualifications and disqualifications of individuals elected or appointed bank directors or officers and disqualify those found unfit. Or in other words, no person or entity shall engage in banking operations or quasi-banking functions without authority from the Banco Central. Provided, however, that an entity authorized by the Banco Central to perform universal or commercial banking functions shall likewise have the authority to engage in quasi-banking functions. President Gloria Arroyo. President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo was the second female elected president of the Republic of the Philippines. Her president term lasted for 9 years, from 2001 to 2010. Under her term, the Republic Act 9502 or the Cheaper Medicines Act was implemented. The Republic Act 9502 or the Cheaper Medicines Act is an act providing for cheaper and quality medicines, amending for the purpose Republic Act No. 8293 or the Intellectual Property Code, Republic Act No. 6675 or the Generics Act of 1988, and Republic Act No. 5921 or the Pharmacy Law, and for other purposes. It is the policy of the state to protect public health and, when the public interest or circumstances of extreme urgency so require, it shall adopt appropriate measures to promote and ensure access to affordable quality drugs and medicines for all. President Benigno Aquino III. Benigno Aquino III was the 15th President of the Philippines. He seated for only one term, which is 6 years, from 2010 up until 2016. Under his term, the outstanding debt percentage of the Philippines reduced. After his presidential term, the Philippines amounted a total of 5.94 trillion pesos, while the next president ended his term leaving a debt of almost 13 trillion pesos. More than 100% increase since Noynoy Aquino's term. President Rodrigo Duterte. Rodrigo Duterte was the 16th President of the Republic of the Philippines. His presidential term lasted for about 6 years or a full term of presidency. Under his term, the Republic Act 10,963 or the Tax Reform Acceleration and Inclusion Law, Train Law. The Republic Act 10,963 or the Train Law will provide hefty income tax cuts for majority of Filipino taxpayers while raising additional funds to help support the government's accelerated spending on its Build and Social Services program. RE 10,963 simplifies the donor's tax schedule from an 8-bracket schedule with rates ranging from 2% to 15% to a single rate of 6% of total gifts in excess of P250,000. The 6% tax rate likewise applies if the donee is a stranger. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is the current President of the Republic of the Philippines. He is the son of the former President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. He won the elections last May in the same year 2022. Under his term, he implemented the intensified inspection of warehouses to mitigate hoarding. In specific, to mitigate the hoarding of our own imported goods such as sugar and etc.